Hello everyone. In the last video we have trained the DistilBERT encoder. What is DistilBERT encoder? Let's revise. So our requirement was basically like when we are asking a question to the model, we have to encode or we have to classify the query among multiple categories, like whether it's a live data or it's a knowledge base which is there in the ChromaDB, or it's a live data, or it's a static information. So that classification we are doing through the DistilBERT encoder, where we create the three neurons. For more details you can see my previous video. So that is something we have created, the three categories using the DistilBERT. But now we have this information, the gravity, let's say. Now the when we are using the gravity, when we are using the basic questions like the what is gravity, it should not come from the knowledge base, it should not come from the live data, it should easily come from the model information. So and when we are making the API call, we we have hard coded the API and we are directly integrating with our pipeline, voice pipeline. But let's suppose if we have multiple sources, like we have a API for weather information, or we have an API for the current events, like the FIFA World Cup is going. So in that case, how to integrate that with our the RAG pipeline? So for that we are going to create MCP server today, where we can have multiple sources or multiple APIs integrated. So I'll show you how to create a MCP server. So here I have created a basic MCP server. So the name of the MCP server is Robot Live Data Server. So under that I have created two MCP tools. As you can see, mcp.tool is basically a decorator which is in Python, and I am using two APIs. One for weather, which is api.weather.com, weather.com, and I am in Columbus, Ohio, so I am directly passing the uh, geo points for getting the weather details. And the second another MCP tool is basically to get the current event, like NASA or the FIFA World Cup. Here, as you can see, so these are the topics which I am going to make the MCP or make the API call. So this is the one for get weather. So that's how you can add n number of MCP tools like this. And I'm using SSE for server sent event to get like a stream data, and that's what I'm using to create that MCP server. Now let's say how to test that. I am saying I'll show you what exactly inside that MCP client integration. Yep. So here I have this. So MCP SSE server I have started, which is on the port 8765. Now here I have created two weather keyword, and so when I'm making the prompt, I will check whether the keyword contain any of this weather related keywords, like weather, rain, raining, temperature. So and default city, because I am in Ohio and Columbus, so I am using that default city. So if I'm going to check if it is a weather query, or I'm going to extract the topic, something like what, when, to fetch the current event topic. So I've created this function called get live data, and inside that I am making the SSE client, and I'm checking whether it's a weather query or it's extract topic. If it is a weather query, so in the server, MCP server, I have created MCP tool called get weather. So I'm making the API call from there, calling that function. And if it is another fetch current event, then I'm calling the fetch current event MCP tool. And that's all. Now let's see. So first thing, we have to start our MCP server. So let's start that in Python robot MCP server. So it started at 8765. Let me go to the another prompt, and here I create that Python MCP underscore client integration. MCP client integration. Okay, so now let's say if I how to integrate that with our voice pipeline or our pipeline. So let me uh, I have another file created, nano pipeline text. So here it is. Inside our pipeline, the rack pipeline I have created. So I'm using the base model as robot AI v7 grpu, the model which I have trained through the grpu. So inside that I'm using DistilBERT. So here it is. I'm using uh, transformer or DistilBERT classifier, and also from MCP client integration I'm using get live data. So that is what I'm going to use now. Inside the classify query, that classify query will give me whether it is a static request, category is static, or it's a live data, or it's from the knowledge base. So based on that I will make the query, and I will display that, make the call accordingly. So let me run this python pipeline underscore text. Now if I say what is gravity, now this should go to the static, so it's coming from the model knowledge. It does not need to go to the ChromaDB to or go to the live data or make any API call. So that's what it is going to the model knowledge. Okay, so that is it picked up from model. Now the second question I can ask, like what is the weather today. So it is going to the fetching the data through the MCP from the live data from the weather API. So as I mentioned, I hard coded as Columbus, Ohio is my location. So it is clearly saying like it's pretty cool night and mild morning tomorrow, all the thing. Next is like who won the FIFA World Cup. So that is also the live data. It is going to the MCP for the current affairs. Now current FIFA is still to be determined. So that's the right answer. It did, the final is not done. So now if I ask something, tell me good math number puzzle. So now that is something I have added into my ChromaDB. So it is going to pick that information from the ChromaDB, and it will tell you some good pipeline, good data, good some response from the ChromaDB. Okay, here coming. Let's try to integrate this with our pipeline, voice pipeline. Let me try to run this with the pipeline, voice pipeline. Same thing which I am doing through the terminal. It's just that I have integrated with. Okay, what is gravity?
Thinking face, you are like a magnet. Just like how magnets stick to metal, people who have good vibes like you tend to attract good things like friends, fun times, and happy memories. And just like how magnets can get pulled towards each other, we all want to be around people who make us feel happy, glowing star.
Who won the FIFA World Cup? So this one is fetching up from the MCP news.
Trophy: the winner of the 2026 FIFA World Cup is not yet determined, as the tournament has not started yet. However, we know that President Trump gave Gianni Infantino $15,000 for tickets to the event, and now he's going to present the trophy party popper. But let's focus on who won since the answer isn't provided here.
Yeah. So now we now the robot has now we have trained our model and train make a rack pipeline to give the answer based on the classification which we used DistilBERT to classify into three categories. But now the question is how trustworthy these answers are when we are using rack system. So that is something we are going to use, like we are going to use RAGAS, which is basically the evaluation of the racks answers. That is something we will discuss in the next video, like how to integrate the ragas to evaluate. Then thank you so much.